mRNA injections discovered to restore skin. Britain to send 14 battle tanks to Ukraine. HRT may reduce women's dementia risk. Pfizer Bivalent vaccine linked to strokes in preliminary data. New Zealand housing slump, a harbinger of what's to come. India's RRR, an unlikely underdog in Hollywood awards race. Tencent will make sure China doesn't miss Warcraft. The US government logs more than 500 UFO reports.
Hello, I'm Jolie. Thank you for joining us on FUNDAY News. It is Monday, January 16th, and here are your top stories. Researchers at the University of Texas MD Anderson Cancer Center found using mRNA to direct the body to make more collagen could reduce wrinkles in mice. Professor Betty Kim said this therapy could be useful to treat other disorders related to collagen loss, including some genetic skin conditions and arthritis. She said the technology could also be used with different types of mRNA to treat brain cancer, as extracellular vesicles can bypass the blood-brain barrier, which prevents pathogens and many medications from reaching the brain.
That the skin is full of immune cells, and scientists now know that this is a very effective area.
Kim and her team packaged the genetic recipe for collagen in tiny molecular messenger bags called extracellular vesicles. They then injected 4 of the mice in the experiment with 5 doses of these extracellular vesicles. While wrinkles returned to pre-treatment levels after 56 days, a subsequent experiment found that delivering the mRNA via a skin patch with microscopic needles reduced wrinkles in mice for about twice as long, on average, as injections. And mice treated with the collagen-replacing mRNA exhibited no redness or swelling.
UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's office said last Saturday that a squadron of 14 Challenger 2 tanks will go into Ukraine in the coming weeks, and around 30 self-propelled AS-90 guns are expected to follow to the country. Sunak's office said earlier last week that Britain would coordinate its support with allies after Germany, France, and the United States all indicated last week they would provide armored vehicles to Ukraine. The UK will begin training Ukrainian forces to use the tanks and guns in the coming days.
The Ukrainian capital, Kyiv, has been hit by a missile attack, with critical infrastructure apparently the target.
The Challenger 2 is a battle tank designed to attack other tanks and has been in service with the British Army since 1994. It has been deployed in Bosnia and Herzegovina, Kosovo, and Iraq with a glistening service record. According to Forces.net News, the Challenger 2 has never been destroyed in battle. They are soon heading to Ukraine, which means Russia will be fighting against an undefeated type of armor in the upcoming months.
A team of researchers from the University of East Anglia and the University of Edinburgh have found evidence of the potential importance of hormone replacement therapy, or HRT, in reducing the risk of Alzheimer's disease in women carrying the APOE4 gene. The results showed that APOE4 carriers who also used HRT had better cognition and higher brain volumes than people not on HRT and non-APOE4 carriers. Almost 2 in 3 people with Alzheimer's are female, and APOE4 is the strongest risk factor gene for the disease.
New research suggesting hormone replacement therapy.
Dr. Rasha Saleh of Norwich Medical School said HRT use is associated with better memory and larger brain volumes. The associations were particularly evident when HRT was introduced early. During the transition to menopause, known as perimenopause, Saleh also said there have been very limited drug options for Alzheimer's disease for 20 years, and there is an urgent need for new treatments. The effects of HRT in this observation study, if confirmed in an intervention trial, would equate to a brain age that is several years younger.
According to U.S. health officials citing preliminary data from one of several vaccine safety databases, Pfizer's bivalent shot for COVID-19 has shown a potential link to stroke in people over 65. The U.S. FDA said the possible link to stroke was seen in the CDC's vaccine safety data link. Investigation of the signal raised a question of whether people over 65 who received the Pfizer BioNTech bivalent shot were more likely to have an ischemic stroke in the 21 days following vaccination compared with days 22 to 44.
After data from a vaccine monitoring system suggested a link between the booster and an increased risk of stroke in people over 65.
The U.S. Food and Drug Administration's website said that the potential risk with Pfizer's vaccine was not seen in other safety databases, nor was it seen with Moderna's COVID vaccine. The U.S. FDA said the early finding still needs more investigation, and recommendations for the vaccine have not been changed. According to the U.S. CDC, among 550,000 people 65 and older who had been vaccinated and received the Pfizer Bivalent booster, 130 had strokes in the first 3 weeks after getting the shot, and no deaths have been reported.
Struck 它是 strike 这动词的过去式 ，strike a deal 就是
学习，享受一个人的美好时光。FUNDAY 英语。
The media reported that house prices in New Zealand have fallen 13% since their November 2021 peak. ANZ Bank New Zealand forecasts the prices will find their floor around the third quarter of this year, by which point they will be down about 22%. Rising interest rates and the housing slowdown are expected to drive New Zealand's economy into recession this year as consumers cut back on spending. The media said it's seen as a harbinger of what's to come for other countries.
House prices are going down, but interest rates, they're going up.
Bloomberg said the South Pacific nation of 5 million people saw home prices jump almost 30% in 2021. Now the Reserve Bank of New Zealand's aggressive tightening of monetary policy to rein in inflation is causing a correction that is ahead of those underway in countries such as Canada, the UK, and US. The central bank estimates about half the stock of fixed-rate mortgages are expected to reprice this year, meaning homeowners will face a jump in interest rates from historically low levels of 3% or less to at least 6.5%.
The media reported that Hollywood's awards season has found an unlikely underdog in RRR. It is S.S. Rajamouli's 3-hour maximalist action epic and one of India's most expensive and top-grossing films of all time. It pairs two of the country's biggest stars, N.T. Rama Rao Jr. and Ram Charan, and topped Netflix streaming charts over the summer. It won Best Original Song at the Golden Globes for the exuberant Natu Natu and has 5 Critics' Choice Awards nominations, including Best Picture.
Do you know Desi Nach?
What's Desi Nach?
The Associated Press reported the movie was a big success when it opened in India. Mr. Rajamouli later had a screening at the TLC Chinese Theater in Hollywood in September, where he got a standing ovation. However, the Academy Awards generally shun foreign films and over-the-top action movies in key categories. Also, RRR cannot win the Oscar for Best International Feature Film because India submitted Panna Lin's much quieter cello show instead. A nomination for Best Picture at the Oscars remains a long shot.
The media reported U.S. games publisher Blizzard and Chinese distributor NetEase broke off talks to extend their 14-year licensing agreement, setting the stage for a dramatic January 23rd. On that day, iconic franchises like Warcraft, Diablo, and Overwatch will go dark in mainland China. The much bigger rival Tencent to NetEase is already among the mooted candidates for picking up the Blizzard licenses. Chinese players hope that local publishers like Tencent, ByteDance, and Perfect World would swoop in and take NetEase's place.
The media said Blizzard's absence from China will have one big winner, Tencent Holdings, because it also owns a developer team that recently showed off a massive multiplayer game that, to many gamers, looked suspiciously similar to World of Warcraft. The WeChat operator just won Beijing's approval to run Lost Ark and Valorant in China, which are 2 global hits. The media said that whatever happens with Blizzard's games, Tencent has a way to profit from it.
According to the 2022 Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena, or UAP, report by the U.S. Director of National Intelligence (DNI) released last Thursday, the U.S. government is examining 510 UFO reports, more than triple the number in its 2021 file. The U.S. DNI said that most of the new reports came from U.S. Navy and Air Force pilots. Those are the focus of examinations by the Pentagon, U.S. intelligence agencies, and NASA NASA over concerns not that they are alien spacecraft but unknown spying capabilities of rival countries.
The U.S. military is worried that some of the UAPs spotted by military pilots in the past may represent technologies of strategic rivals unknown to U.S. scientists. The report said many of those still unexplained reports could stem from weather phenomena, faulty sensors, or erroneous analysis by humans. It said many reports lack detailed data to enable attribution of UAP with high certainty. The Pentagon said we take reports of incursions into our designated space, land, sea, or airspaces seriously and examine each one.
FUNDAY News will help you sharpen your English skills and keep you informed about international current events. If you want to know more about our other programs and keep learning about the world's most important topics in English, please click the link in the description below to join FUNDAY for free. I'm Jolie, your host. I'll see you next time.